You're listening to the Coop Homeschool Podcast.
This is your podcast for community, humility, and joyful fun in homeschooling. I'm Mandy.
I'm Jessica.
And this is
The Coop. It's so good to say that again.
I know, it's been forever.
Yes, it has. Too long.
Yeah.
But we really did enjoy our holidays.
Totally. What'd you do?
Oh, everything. Before Thanksgiving, it was my husband's birthday, and then we went right into Nutcracker. And so, between your family and mine and just investing in our individual lives, we just didn't really...
Well, we did our Christmas
together.
day together.
Oh, yeah. Well, we did things together. I just meant the Coop didn't.
Oh.
The Coop, homeschool
Oh,
podcast.
yeah, we did, and I was sick, so.
Right.
But we did we did a Christmas homeschool that you did.
Yeah, we got a little mini unit, and I kind of pick and chose some fun events for us to do together, and so that was really sweet.
Yeah.
And the kids, our 5 kids, were having a really good time, and we exchanged gifts, and it was really sweet.
Fun.
Yeah.
We also went on a snow day. Because
Yeah.
it snowed, it's like 35 minutes, 40 minutes from where we live. So we drove up there not knowing if it would have melted because it was like in the 60s.
It's a gamble.
Yeah. And we don't even have boots. We're just in shoes that are very breathable. So we know they're going to get wet in 2 seconds. But we're like, hey, it's only 40 minutes away. That's like how long it takes for me to get to the store sometimes.
Exactly.
So
It's almost closer than the beach.
Oh, it is for us.
Yeah.
So it's like 5 or 10 minutes closer than the beach for us.
Crazy.
Yeah. So it worked out great. We were there 2 hours, and since the snow wasn't too soft, their feet didn't even get super wet. So
Good.
All right, so let's do our real scoop.
Yes, real scoop. We moved.
I know your house is awesome.
Yeah.
The amount of storage is incredible.
Yeah, there's like closets everywhere, and then the previous owners, they put shelves in every closet.
Yeah.
So every closet has very great storage capacity, and he didn't nail any of the shelves down either. So I can take any of them out if I have something tall or whatever. So it's really great. So it was such a beautiful way to kind of start our new year and kind of like getting the new hang of things and new attitudes around it in a way, because with my husband working at home permanently, the new house is definitely a huge blessing. He's got his own office, and the layout of the house is
awesome.
great for that, right?
Yeah.
So his office is away from the homeschool room and other things. And so let me tell you, Mandy came over to set up my homeschool room, and it has brought me so much joy to be in that room because it's a part of my big family room now. Right. Before
and your music room too.
Right. Yeah. Yes. I've got the piano in there, and then, and so it's just nice not to have the homeschool room feel overly cluttered because that's what the playroom was. It was kind of a combo playroom, homeschool. That's where we all hung out, but it was just constantly a mess because a 2.5, 3-year-old is just a mess. So, it didn't feel very put together, and sometimes it was hard to be in there and be productive in there. So it's really nice that this will be a room that's usually more put together. It's not going to not get messy because it's life.
And you have the door to the outside right there so that you can come in and out easily.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to that whole layout. So
that was really fun to come over.
Yeah.
It's kind of our tradition now when you move. I come over and get to just, be a sounding board for you.
But it was more fun to have me or to have you set up my homeschool stuff with me than it was to set up my kitchen that time.
Well, I love looking at the stuff that you have.
Right.
Like your beautiful books and like the Botanicum and all those.
Right. Yeah. We've collected some fun books, and then Mandy was helping me arrange them. So, it wasn't just all, facing inward, but put one on display, and then you can change it. I'm like, oh, okay. And then put your aloe up here. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So it was just really fun to make the homeschool space really, really unique. So
and we hung your IKEA clock, which we love.
I have a big clock that feels like such a school clock to me. And so it's right there. And so I'll take a picture and put it up and show you guys.
Yeah. Well, we, since it was the new year, we've been working with a lawyer to set up a living trust.
Oh, yeah.
Versus a will.
Sure.
So, and there's so many, definitely should look into that if you don't have a living trust, because we didn't know the ins and outs of a living trust versus a will. And if you have any assets or life insurance payout that goes over $166,000, at least in California, then it goes to probate, and it
Yep.
could be 1 to 2 years before you see that money.
Right. Or your kids have access to it.
Yeah,
if they're
exactly.
in someone else's care.
Yeah, and your house
Yeah.
or whatever it is,
It's crazy.
So, so now we're like, oh, how did we not know this? We're in our 40s, and so I'm so glad we're getting that set up. And it costs a few $1,000s to do it, but it saves so much money in the long run, and time and grief, and So we've just started
You're
working
like
on that.
really adulting now.
Yes, I was definitely adulting when it came to doing a living trust and a will.
Yes.
I just can't believe we didn't do it earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, let's get started with our New Year's restart.
Yes.
Okay, so what do we do as adults? We
Set goals.
We set goals. We have New Year's resolutions. We might put forth a new budget. I've been talking about for ages, we're going to redo everydollar.com.
Right.
And we're going to follow Dave Ramsey or, Susie Orman or something. Which actually, as a side note, the reason we started doing the Living Trust is because the hubby saw a Susie Orman episode, and she said, the most important thing you can do of anything you do is got to set up a living trust. And he was like, okay.
Step one.
Yeah. So anyways, and with the new year, besides resolutions and budgets and goals, sometimes it's a new activity we're starting. I'm going to get my new body, whatever. So why not do that with our kids? Why not teach that to our kids as well? And January is a great time to do that.
Sure.
So we happen to usually do it on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day.
Right.
Because that's our big family time. We stopped doing the party thing probably 4 or 5 years ago, and instead just said, let's make this a special family day.
Right.
What do you guys do New Year's Eve and New Year's Day?
It's usually quiet because we don't like to go places on New Year's Eve, and then I like to be home on New Year's Eve, and then the past few years we've had my nieces and nephews over, so that's been kind of sweet.
Fun.
So it is like a mini party in a way. But it's actually just kind of
quality.
Sweet. Yeah, they're just gonna sleep over because everyone's on a break. Because we don't always get to be with all 4 of those cousins at one time. So that part's kind of nice.
And then what do their parents do? They just get the night to themselves? Or?
Well, last year I think so. Yeah, I can't remember what they did last year. The year before that, one of their kids was in the hospital, so it wasn't quite as exciting. So it kind of started because of that.
Yeah.
But this year we were in our new house for New Year's Eve, and so we just had a really quiet stay home, and my daughter made it till midnight.
Oh, wow.
And you know me, like I'm usually more strict about bedtime or just, reasonable sleep hours.
Yeah.
And so I was hesitant to let her do it, and she wanted to, and so we played games. She was the one who said, let's play board games. And so she wanted to get out some of the new, because we got a ton of new fun games.
We gave you that ice for the banana split game.
That has inspired a lot. I think her birthday maybe
like ice cream sundae or something?
Right. Like
funny.
I think my husband's going to set out a few of the options from the cards.
Oh, yeah.
And build them so the kids will order their own ice cream. Anyway, so we love games in our house, and my husband picked out this really cool strategy game. Anyway, we learned at least 2 games that night and played these games together. So she enjoyed that.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and I don't always play games with them.
Yeah.
Because usually by the time
we're
the evening
busy.
comes, right, or I'm putting the little guy to bed, and so then they start a game. So so it was intentional that we would all do it, the 3 of us.
I love that.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, we've in the past done we call it like the jar, and each person gets to put in like 2 activities or even 3. And then we pull it out and we do whatever it is.
Right.
And thankfully there's a merciful like hug.
Right.
So then we know, that's not an hour, and we've had to start like first thing in the morning. So yeah, but what's happened with me is, since I'm an over-planner, overstalker of a sentimentality and things to do like that, I every year have added to our New Year's Eve or New Year's Day extravaganza.
Right. It's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing. So I'm going to talk about some of those things.
Yes.
And
I love it. I'm excited.
Okay. So first, we're going to talk about looking back.
Okay.
So if you don't do this New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, and like right now you're hearing this in January, so you have all of January to do this. You can do this as a family.
Yeah.
You can do it one-on-one. You can do it as just like in your part of your homeschool day.
Do this. I do a bigger reset or restart for my family, mostly my kids. the new school year.
Yeah, exactly.
So for me, that's an easier time than the holidays. And
Right.
so I feel overwhelmed at New Year's, but I don't want it to be pressure.
Yeah.
So I don't force it. So I do a big restart at the beginning of the new school year.
I think that's such a great idea because we're all doing that kind of already,
Exactly.
right? Like, what do you
Right.
want to learn, stuff like that.
Right.
So that's a great time to take what you're listening here and do that if
Right.
you want there. So looking back.
Yes.
So what I do every year is, starting 4 years ago, we write a letter to ourselves to open a year from now.
That's cute. Yeah.
And so, and it's like, you know, predictions. Like Marcus, the husband, usually does predictions. So that's
Right.
really fun to
Right.
see and hear.
That's cute, though.
And
Yeah.
that some of it's kind of joking around,
Sure.
you know. And I've usually done Bible verses and words of encouragement to me, like in quotes and stuff. And I might draw a picture. So the year we were doing C.S. Lewis, the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe series, I drew a big lion, and then I looked up quotes and Bible verses all about lions
cute.
and
Yeah.
courage and anything relating to that. And then just wrote a short note to myself. And the kids have written to themselves, and it's really
so
cute.
Yeah.
So then we open that.
Okay.
So that's in looking back at what we wrote a year ago. Sometimes there's hopes and dreams that you accomplish something or whatever. So that's kind of fun to see. And then we'll write the letter to ourselves for the following year. Okay. Then we also have conversation cards. So I got these from Big Life Journal.
Yes.
And I'm just holding them up for the YouTube. And I laminated them, and they're just simple questions that I just put them all face down on the table, and we just picked one each, and we went around however many times we wanted
Right.
to. We didn't have to do all of them. And what's one word that describes 2020? And so we all went around and said one word. What is your favorite memory from 2020? And so whoever draws it gets to say it first, and then whoever wants to answer it can answer it. But everybody seemed to always want to answer. You know, there's 5 of us, and so it's pretty quick. We just go around. What was your favorite game in 2020? You know, and questions like that. Like, what was the most unexpected thing about 2020?
Nice.
So
Yeah.
it was so funny when the kids didn't say COVID. And Mark and I were like, COVID?
Right. Like, duh.
Yeah, but
None of us saw that
Yeah,
coming.
and I wish I had these written down because I
Right.
don't remember now what they said. I just remembered that they
There's
didn't
other
say
things.
COVID. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Your favorite food. What's the best advice you heard?
Oh, yeah.
So that was actually a really hard one.
Sure.
Oh, and you know what Marcus did? The spouse, since Hamilton was really big, he was like, the best advice, talk less, smile more.
Right,
It was
that's cute.
perfect,
Yeah.
right? Because this was our Hamilton year. So we have those on looking back.
Right.
And we've also done where if we had a vision board from the previous year, we look at the vision board and we just do them on a sheet of paper and put them in protective lining. So I literally pulled them off our cupboard. Like we had them on the inside, like Marcus's was the inside of the kitchen cupboard.
Nice.
And so I just pulled them off and we just looked at them and said, did we do these things or did we,
Right. How'd we do?
what was the word we put in the middle of our vision board? And Marcus's, for example, was thankful. So
Oh, nice.
yeah, so you know, were we extra thankful? Were you extra thankful this year? And I can't even remember what mine was, so that's why I've done.
You just did it.
I know, I
Yeah.
just did it. We talk about like trips we took, like we went to Vegas this year, and that was so fun.
cool.
And we just look back and
Was that only 2020?
yeah.
It feels like so long
I know.
Yeah.
I know. We also did thankfuls, from the previous year. So what was really cool is also from Big Life Journal. I'm holding it up. It's 2021, my growth mindset year, and it was like $13. And the first page, and I, printed it and bound it, the pages that I wanted us to do.
Right.
And it was the thankful for 2020. So something new I learned, a new activity I tried, a person I met, something I got better at, something I haven't mastered yet. So,
Yeah.
so I wrote those things down, and we wrote them down quietly, and then we
Sure.
went around and shared them.
That's cool.
So, and it's great to have little notebooks like the Big Life Journal or whatever else you
Oh,
find
yeah.
online, because it just makes it easy. It gives you a
Right.
place to put it, and it'll be fun to look back on this next year. And we talked about like what we gave money to,
Right.
or service projects that we did. We talked about we did cards for Mother's and Father's Day,
Right.
and things like that. So yeah. So that was the looking back.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Any thoughts about that?
Not really.
Yeah. Okay. So looking forward, I have to say, since I packed it so much this year, we only had time to play 2 games. And so that was kind of the bummer of it. Like, and I actually didn't even finish the notebook. So I'm going to continue it through January. But, because I started to realize, we spend a lot of time doing this, you know?
Right.
Okay. So then looking forward for self. So that's the next category. So we had looking back, then we do a looking forward. So we had other conversation cards, like what book do you want to read in 2021?
Yeah.
What are you most excited about in January? What new activity do you want to try in 2021? And so it's funny, we're doing golf this year, and both Marcus and Micah, my 10-year-old, said golf for like everything.
That's cute.
Yeah. Who would you want to meet in 2021? And again, I wish we would have written these down because I can't even remember what they said.
Right.
It was fun. It was really fun in the moment.
So it's almost like this should have been one of the worksheets.
Yeah, it should have been. Yeah, because they're actually really interesting questions, but it was really fun to discuss. And you could just do this, you know?
Right.
And have that. What are you looking forward to the new year? What place do you want to visit in 2021? So these are all, again, from Big Life Journal. And so that was a really easy way. I just printed them off, cut them, laminated them, and they were good to go. And now I have them for next year, and we'll just save for the next year. You know, I don't have to worry about the year. Okay, so and then then also looking forward for self is goals and systems. So goals we've talked about in so many previous episodes, especially our I think it's is it learning to how to thrive in homeschooling. I think we talk about it in our
goal setting.
Yeah. So they need to be measurable. So what was cool about this Big Life Journal printout, this PDF that I got, was my 2021 goals think sheet. So they had 4 categories and new things I want to learn or try. So I said make 1 macrame. So it has to be measurable, right?
Right.
Better at hiking, go on like 6 hikes.
Right.
You know, and then there was things I want to finish or achieve. So I wanted to set the girls' room. I want to change the girls' room. Cute. You know, I want to help them with their website, things like that. And then things I want to get better at, whether it's being more healthy or working out more or reading scripture, places I want to visit, and then listed for a road trip we're actually taking.
Right.
So those were 4 categories that each one of us filled out.
Yeah.
Quietly, and they were so excited to share them.
Aw, that's cute.
Yeah, it was really cute. So, and their goals, you know, ranged from I know one of mine, she wants to read 20 new books this year. So
nice.
She rereads a lot of books.
Right. Yeah.
She wants to read 20 new books because I mentioned that you did 40 books last year.
I did 50.
Oh, 50!
And then I exceeded it by a lot.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking 40 for me, but you did 50.
50 was my goal. And then, I mean, I read books alongside my kid, but I counted those as reading.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was, but there were several rereads, so it wasn't 50 brand new books, but because I like to reread some things too. So I ended the year actually rereading my favorite book.
Which one?
Jane Eyre.
You did?
I did. Yeah, I don't think I told you. Yeah. So I finished the year by rereading that because I was kind of in a slump. I wasn't reading anything, and I was like, why not just read that? I love that book.
I know. I know.
Right.
Do you ever watch the films on it?
I don't very often.
The 3 or 4 hour one is like the best one, and I'm always like trying to figure out, wait, which one am I watching right now?
Right. I forgot which one.
I know. Yeah. You know, it's another good one. Just as a tangent, her sister wrote. The Tenet of Willful Hall.
Oh yeah. No, I'm familiar with the whole catalog of the Bronte sisters.
Okay.
Yeah. Wuthering Heights is totally one of my.
Oh yeah.
So I like the whole catalog.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So anyway, so my daughter says she wants to do 20 books, and then she right away got out a sheet of paper and made her little.
Oh, she made a log.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Isn't that cute? Like then, because she was ahead of us, and so we were still writing, and she was making her log.
She just did it. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's really important when you do the goals is, and we have yet to put this into action, but is to set up a system.
Okay.
So it's like the practice, like if you're going to practice at a certain time, if it's like you want to learn golf, you know, how are you going to learn new golf?
Right.
Setting up a system for that, or forming a group to do the hikes or whatever. And there's this I love this book called Loser Think by Scott Adams. Just finished reading it, audiobooking it, so I don't have it in front of me, but there's this quote that he talks about systems. A goal is a specific objective that you either achieve or don't sometime in the future. A system is something you do on a regular basis that increases your odds of happiness in the long run. If you do something every day, it's a system. So I really liked like that. Like like having a system is actually winning.
Exactly. So if golf is your goal, what system are you going to set up in place to reach your goal?
Right. Yeah.
The
So you can
system is
have
what
as
you
many
focus
goals
on.
and resolutions
Right.
you want, but if you aren't setting up your system and like you just said, aren't focusing on it.
Right.
So that was like, it all sounds like common sense, but you don't even think about that.
Right.
You know?
You just, you think it's just going to fall in line, but if you don't set up those measurable
Yeah.
steps, create a system. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what does that mean to study scripture more?
Right.
That means setting an alarm to get up in the morning if that's when the best
Right.
time for you is. Do you need your coffee before you do that? Like,
Yeah,
set your
having a
system up
daily
because it's easy to not do it.
Oh,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. And then, so we talked about those goals and then, okay. And then the vision board. So this is when you would do now the vision board. And, so again, you wouldn't want to do all these things because I tried and it's too much. Also, you can do what you want to save for. So in the Big Life Journal a booklet thing, they have, I didn't put it in the right order, but they had my savings tracker.
Oh, cute.
So they have two of them, so you could actually have two different things. So I was going to do one for self and one for the family.
Oh, cute.
So, and the family one, we've already determined it's going to be a travel and save money
fun.
for an extra road trip. Not just the one to Denver, but
Right.
an extra one.
That's
So my savings tracker, I'm saving for blank. I already have this amount. I need to save this amount. And then they have like ice cream cone for your goal amount to separate it out, work out how much you need to save to reach your goal, divide that amount into equal parts and write them down into each scoop of ice cream. And each time you add money toward your goal, color in the scoop. And so then you would come up with your list of chores that you can do or your whatever you can contribute or entrepreneurship or
Right.
whatever. And so then you're setting up your system to do your savings. So that's again looking forward and that's and then showing kindness to others. So in the same Big Life Journal booklet is this kindness tracker. And I thought, so there's a family one, but there's also like an individual one you could do.
Right.
There's two of them. And you
cool.
color in a part of the heart each time you do your act of service or you give money or your time or whatever it is.
That's cute.
Yeah. So then you look for it. So then our third category, so we had looking back, looking forward for self.
Yes.
And so it was actually very quiet when they're filling it out. They were
so cool.
really into doing
Yeah.
it, And so for my 6-year-old, since she can't really, it would take forever to spell everything out for her. So I just had her whisper in my ear and do it. And in hindsight, I should have filled out mine for beforehand.
Right. You
Because
should
then
have
I'm
done
also
yours the
trying to
day
do
before,
mine.
yeah.
And then there's looking forward for family. So you kind of do a similar thing. You have what I do love about this little book. And they're not paying us to talk about this.
No. This is
But
just what you like.
I really liked it. This is the first year I've used it, but they had our 2021 family plan. So they had the family bucket list. They have our word of the year, and then they
cute,
have a
right.
list of all these words that we went through and we decided.
Well, it's really neat because it kind of fits your already, like some of the things that you already do. For your school year, you already had your theme.
Right.
Like you have your theme for the school year.
Yeah,
So,
our family motto is right there. Make a
Exactly.
joyful noise unto the Lord. So I
Exactly.
just put that in. But that's why
Right.
this would work when you're kicking
Right.
off the new school year as
exactly.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then our word of the year was adventure. That's what we came on. So the dots were what each person decided, and
Oh, that's cute.
so we had 4 that wanted adventure and 4 that wanted brave, and
Ooh.
and that was it. So we had to choose between those two. The rest just had 1, 2, or 3 dots.
Yeah.
Ideas to share kindness. So we're supporting someone in ministry. We also thought to do as a family a kindness kit where we drop off at like when I dropped off flowers
Right,
or
right. That's
whatever. A friend per month that may need encouragement or we haven't talked to for a while
Right.
or in need or something, do
That's
a drop off. And then Christmas card prayers. So I binder clipped all of our Christmas cards that we got. And even though they don't know half of them, the people, we're going to pray for them as part of our family time. Like
That's
once a
sweet.
week, we'll pray
Sure.
for 2 families or something,
Right.
or 1 family. So, that was ideas to share kindness, and we talked about it and everything. And then a new tradition. So we had everyone think of a new tradition, and most people didn't come up with anything.
Sure, it's
so I
hard.
said, well, the family fall pie.
Right.
You guys want to continue that, right? And they said yes, because I baked that apple pie we talked about in our fall traditions, right?
Yes.
You said you had a good Radish Kids apple pie. It was delicious.
It was perfect, right?
And the crust
And
is
simple.
amazing. Yeah. So they said this next year they want to do the same thing, but with like berry.
Right. I remember.
So I'm thinking I could just probably substitute the apple for berry and do the same crust and everything. And then for 2021, my daughter wants to do a family book club.
Cute.
So each month I said we'll work out the specifics, but
Right. Because they kind of do that. I mean, because your husband does a lot of read alouds.
so it would be in addition to the read aloud. So we were like, oh, so
Are we all reading it independently?
we
and then
are.
coming to talk about
She
it?
said it
Okay.
cannot be a read aloud.
Oh, well, that's kind of cool. So maybe not once a month, but
So I said, why don't we just see how we can all get through a book, and then when we're all through it, we do it,
Right.
and
because someone will have to read it to the little one.
yeah,
anyway.
I have to, yeah,
Right.
I will read it to her, but that will be my read.
Okay. Right.
So then, so the first one, the 8-year-old got to pick out, and of course it's Diary of a Wimpy Kid. So we're gonna be reading
Okay.
book number 15.
Right. Good.
I'm like, do we have to read 1 through 14
Right.
to know what's going on? No, but so it'll be fun to see what books, and my 10-year-old probably will pick a picture book out just to get it over and done with,
Right.
or another Diary of a Wimpy Kid book.
Right.
Anyway, so that was fun. So now we have a family book club we're gonna
That's
do
kind of
this
cute.
year.
I might have to see if my husband would be interested in that. And
Oh,
let
we totally
Sophia
would.
pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's totally I could so see your
Yeah.
family doing that.
It's kind of cute.
Yeah, so and it'll be fun to come up. Maybe the person who picked the book has to come up with the discussion questions, and that'd be fun to
Ooh,
see,
that's
like
cute too.
what an 8-year-old wants to discuss. know. So anyway, so that was a really neat time, and that's really all we got done with the book. So we have so much more. Our family goals. The book comes with like family goals ideas, like with
Right.
relationships and health and family project celebrations.
Those are good suggestions.
Yeah, so really neat suggestions to go off of, and we didn't even get to that. And then you can do a vision board as a family, almost like your
totally.
family mission statement type of thing. And then the last category was prayer.
Nice.
So pray for the new year.
Right.
And we had a list of different prayer requests that, each child, I said, who wants to pray for our cousin,
Right.
And then who wants to pray for, our country, and who wants, so, and then each person had something to pray for the year.
Specifically,
Yeah.
yeah.
Coming up. So yeah, that was a really neat time as well. And then, we also played games and, but again, we only got in like 2 games, but,
Right.
and then we had time for a movie, and then this was on New Year's Eve. We had time for a movie, and then we still watched the ball drop at 9.
Right. You did
Watched
the
it
East
live.
Coast.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And then it was bedtime. Yeah. But so yeah, that was just a really neat way to set up a new year. Oh, and then also I had in the book they had a number of quotes.
Yeah.
Every challenge is an opportunity to be curious and brave, and so I laminated it, and so I thought I'd bring them out every once in a while.
Yeah, no, the Big Life Journal always does really cute, what do you call
Artwork.
it? Yeah.
Graphic design.
Graphic design with their quotes and stuff. Because when we did their regular year-round journal,
Yeah.
that was really cool because I laminated Sophia's and put it
Oh,
up
you
on her wall too.
did.
Yeah.
Was it the growth mindset one?
Yeah, yeah.
That was really, Ruby had that on her wall for a while. I don't think I did laminate it. Yeah, it was really pretty.
course.
All the different
Are
colors.
you a homeschool mom?
I know. I know. Wait, if you don't have a laminator, are you a homeschool mom?
Are you even a homeschool mom?
Yeah. So we talked about that. But the coolest thing I was going to give them, so I usually like to give them a gift on New Year's Eve.
Right.
Well, of course, I over-planned it, and it was, like, exhausting. Like, it was so nice when we finally got to the movie. I'm like, I'm just going to sit and watch The Croods.
Oh, yeah. 2 or 1?
We had watched, that was 1, and then we watched 2 on New Year's Day.
Okay.
We rented that.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to say about that?
No, I'm just curious.
Oh,
we'll
yeah.
talk about it later.
Okay.
I haven't watched it yet.
Oh,
but I've heard
oh.
mixed reviews, so I want to know your personal review,
yeah.
but we don't need to do it here.
Yeah, no. We'll save that for another podcast.
Yeah, if we
Movie
have more to
reviews.
say.
Yeah. So these two calendars,
So cute.
the Wimpy Kid 2021 calendar and then Kids Awesome Activity calendar. This one's really, so on New Year's Eve, I was going to gift them
Right.
these calendars to them. They love a calendar.
So funny.
Yeah, so we didn't do one last year. And so I was like, and they had a Diary Wimpy Kid one, which is perfect because my older two
Right.
love it. And then my younger one loves like fun activities to do. So I couldn't believe it when I found Kids Awesome Activity Calendar
It's perfect for her.
by Mike Lowry. I don't know, is he some famous author? I should look that up.
Doesn't sound.
Oh, look, he has like these other books.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kids Awesome Activity Book and Doodle Adventure series.
Yeah, I don't know.
So it's really cute art. But like for January, help design some snow monsters. And then they actually have stickers for the eyes
Fun.
and mouths for January.
Oh, that is fun.
Yeah, and then for like February, you're supposed to use the word Valentine's Day and see how many words you can make out of those letters.
Nice.
So it's just really cute, right? So
Super cute.
So anyways, we were going to gift these to them. And then of course, since I overstuffed everything, I forgot about it. And then just now,
Right before I got here.
yeah, I was like, I'm preparing for this. And I'm like, I forgot to give them their calendars. So I brought it out to them and they're super stoked about their calendars. So I'm
Right.
like, we will start it tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah. So just a couple
Cute.
days late, you know.
No big deal.
Yeah. So those are all ideas. So just to recap, there's a Big Life journal. You can print it and staple it or spiral bound it or comb bind it. Vision boards, and you can look up different ideas for vision boards. There's all different ways to do it. You can cut out things out of a magazine and glue them on, or draw pictures or whatever. Letters to self, a time capsule. I didn't even mention that, but time capsule would be really fun to do. Sharing, caring, giving, talking about that and ways you can show kindness to others, and then saving for something yourself and for other and as a family. So and conversation cards and. Yeah, so there's lots of fun to be had, and I love your idea to do it when you're kicking off the school year.
Yeah, it's just where it feels natural to me. I think because I always feel like New Year's is overhyped.
Yeah.
It's hard for me. So then I feel like it's too much pressure, and I'm one of those who's like, I'm just going to avoid the whole thing.
Yeah,
you
well,
know?
I love that you're playing games. I mean, that's like,
Well, that's
so
how
fun.
I have to do it because I tend to be very type A a lot of times. And so if I put too much self-pressure over any one thing, then it's just not fun for me.
Yeah.
And it means I'm not as present with my family and with my kids.
Yeah.
And so it was just easy for me to say, and now that I'm like, this is a new experience having kids that are old enough to say this is what we want to do.
Oh, totally.
I don't need to lead all the time.
yeah.
My kid says, I want to play games all day.
Yeah,
So
I love
we
that.
do.
Yeah.
And that's pretty fun.
Yeah, so that's awesome. And what I love is this, I keep promoting it, but this Big Life journal, it did make it easy for me. I didn't have to
It did
look
all the
up
things you
anything.
wanted.
I just
Yeah.
printed it off, comb bound it for 5 people.
Right.
And now we'll use January. But again, actually, anytime you want to restart,
Oh, yeah.
you can do this. Like,
Exactly.
If things are hard in homeschooling and you don't like where things are going and it's March, you can be like, let's restart for March, April, and May. Let's just restart for these 3 months.
Right. Goals aren't specific to, having to start in January.
Yeah.
Goals are whenever you need them to be set.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's such a great life skill to
Right.
teach the kids.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure there's so many other, besides Big Life Journal, like so many other organizations and companies that have free stuff online that you can print out, or just ideas of how to lead your children in goal setting and planning for their future.
I even do that for my dance students. For my students who are 8-ish and older, I get them folders and I put notebook paper in there. I put their dance terminology in there.
Cool.
And then we work together on goals. And so we talk about what their individual goals are and we set class goals, because it's really important for me to teach my kids that their dance training is very individual.
Yeah.
So even though they are in a class and we're learning together, they're going to progress very differently than someone else because of how their body, So
Yeah.
for me, making it more tangible to them is really critical. And so, it's like giving them their own journal in a way.
Yeah.
But now I'm thinking I love the idea of actually making it pre-printed for them rather than just handing them notebook paper and say, write this down.
And you're so great at Canva.
Exactly.
You can definitely
Just
do that.
design away.
I know, fun.
But it would be fun to give them some more questions to actually take home and mull over.
Yeah.
And then come back and share with me some of their goals. And then they turn it in and I write notes about how I can help them with their goals.
Yeah.
So even though they're not my actual family, we're kind of having this relationship and I'm helping them achieve
As a
those
mentor.
goals.
You're mentoring.
Right. And
Yeah.
setting up their system. So that's what my
Yeah.
response becomes.
Oh, yeah.
You want to reach this goal, this is how you do it. You should stretch every day. If getting your splits is your goal,
Yeah.
right,
Okay.
then you should set aside 5 minutes every morning and then 5 minutes right after you brush your teeth and practice your splits or do this, and I get much more specific with each child about what it is. And then I tell them in class, this is where you should really be focused. Obviously outside of the entire class,
Right.
but this is when I'm talking about this, that means that this is what you should be really taking notes on.
Right.
And that's why they have their book, because then they go home and take notes.
And I think that would help. What age do you do this at?
8 and up.
Yeah, so I think that would really help their parents too. If the child shares it with the parents, then they can help them with that system.
Right.
Like, oh, don't forget your 5 minutes
Right.
of stretching. When
Exactly.
you wake up and
It's
after you brush
helpful.
your teeth and all that.
It's
stuff.
helpful.
Yeah.
And then we as a class actually discussed classroom rules because I wanted them to have ownership of it. So it's kind of like you're planning with your family too. What is important to us as a family? And then how do we reach that? How do we make that important every day? So if it's important to wear our uniforms to dance class, then do I make an allowance when you want to wear your fuzzy pants? Right? Like little things. Like, is that fair to the other kids?
Right.
So we discuss it, and we talked about this often, is we respect the child and we talk about their feelings and what they think.
Yeah.
Because it's not my rule for them for no reason.
Right.
Why do you think this rule is important? And they talk about it. And then we had a debate in my last class about it. They're like, well, I guess I see why it's important. And it's just so fun to get your kids involved in that. And that's basically what, your whole growth mindset, big life journal planning is. And maybe your kids might have an activity specific goal, and so that would be fun for anyone to do with their kid, is funnel that down into more specifics for that activity.
That's cool.
Yeah. That's just my way of relating to that,
Well,
I guess.
get yourself a comb binder.
I know, it's on my list. Well, I went full coil and put a coil one on my list.
Oh, you lucky duck.
Well, no one's getting it from me, but it's on my list, so maybe one day I'll buy
How
it
much
for
is a
myself.
coil binder?
200.
Oh, we should do a collection, like
For our Coop group?
Yeah, I know. Like a GoFundMe.
Right. We can do it like our Coop library.
Yeah.
Send it around until
Yeah.
it just lands at one of our houses. I'm like, I guess I'll take care of it.
I'll host it.
Yeah. It'll live with me for a while.
Yeah.
No, but seriously.
Yeah, isn't that a great idea? I even had the great idea of all of us going in together and buying one of those big bounce houses.
Oh, yeah.
And then rotating that around.
Right.
Of course, I don't know what kind of pickup you need to transport a big bounce
Well,
house.
it's more the generator, I think, than anything else.
Yeah.
That you
Oh,
have
yeah.
to run it.
Yeah, that's true. And then you have to keep. But it was like, it's genius. If you have 10 people
Right,
do
committed
$100
long-term
each,
families,
then you
yeah.
have like these huge bounce houses.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Moving on.
Yes. Okay, so let's go to our joys.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it kind of is in line with my scoop, of course,
Mm-hmm.
because we moved, but we have a backyard.
Oh,
There is so much joy in just being able to sit outside and not have to go and seek somewhere safe and
yeah, I remember
comfortable
that.
and clean,
Yeah.
and then when COVID hit, that was even harder,
Yeah.
and so it was just so nice. And I mean, we even keep the door open, even
Yeah.
though
Oh, that's nice.
the whole
Yeah.
house
You don't
is
have
just
snakes.
65 degrees, all the
Yeah.
time. But that's okay because it's worth it
Yeah.
to just go. I sat out in the sunshine today.
I love
And then
it.
I sat there so long that I was like, I'm going to pull those weeds.
Yeah.
And I pulled
you.
weeds. I did it. But it's just bringing me so much joy to be out there. Yeah. And then to watch the kids run around and my little guy, he will not put on shoes to go outside.
Oh yeah, see, but that's what they're supposed to feel. You're supposed
Right,
to have
grounding.
your feet touch the ground. Yeah,
Yep.
the dirt.
So I'm totally fine with it, but it's just funny because I'm like,
Yeah.
do you want to put on your shoes?
Yeah.
You know, maybe you won't.
you might
hurt your
need
toe.
some wipes by the front, by the back door, so when they come
Right.
in, they won't track it in. But
Yeah, I'll have to figure that.
have you
system
started watering your grass yet?
out. No, because it's still pretty moist
Oh, is
from
it?
the rain.
Okay.
So that's what's nice is, you know, right now this time of year is good for us to break into having a lawn care. But yeah, so that's my joy. is
Yeah.
having a backyard is joyous.
Well,
I hear birds.
That's also my joy too. I mean, not my actual joy, but
Yeah,
it is my joy that you have that. Just like happy for you, but then also happy for me because then
you
I
get to come and enjoy it.
yeah,
sometime.
and but also it'll be easier for you to host the coop
Oh,
group.
totally. You know,
you're
I've been
more
wanting to
centrally
do it.
located.
Yeah. I'm so committed to our coop group, and yet I felt so, you know, like just inadequate in not being able to host anything outside of a public setting, which
Well, even
meant
just parking would have been hard where you were.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
And then and so it'll just be nice.
Yeah, yeah. There's lots of space.
Yes.
Okay, my joy is the family book club. Like the fact that she thought of that was really sweet. Yeah. So,
I can't wait to hear how that goes.
Yeah. Hopefully we carry it through the whole year.
Hopefully we at
we're-
least do it once.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then from there,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. She wanted to start youngest to oldest, but then she's like, "But wait, I want to go first." So I was like, "Yeah, it's your idea," you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that brought me joy that she picked something like enriching to all of our
Yes.
lives, you know, to do. So all
Super
right,
cute.
all right. So that's the New Year's restart. Enjoy.